Nope, that one is far too personal. I'm not reading that out on the show.
It's the Daylight Midnight Show.
Well, the timer has started, and I've got a feeling we're going to overrun this week, but I don't care because I've got so much that I want to get through. And I'm seriously thinking of taking the executive decision of changing the timer and upping it to 15 minutes anyway for future episodes, but I'll think about that a bit more and we'll see how we go. Straight away this week, I want to talk about outfit roulette because I've noticed something that could be a problem. Last week it threw up me wearing my therapist jacket, so I'm wearing this top as you can see. Now this top is actually designed to be pinned up like this to be worn. It's much more comfortable like that because I've got it hanging open, because I want you to be able to see the fact that I am wearing the wolf t-shirt as designated by Outfit Roulette, but I've got all this extra material kind of hanging in the way, which I think is going to be a problem. So what I'm proposing we do is that we keep the therapist jacket, but we move it into column 1, making it an undergarment. So I wouldn't wear anything under it, I'd wear something over it. And if I do that, I would need to replace it in column 2. Now, coincidentally enough, I was looking around some charity shops this week and I found a very nice grey old-style pinstripe jacket. It was slightly too small for me, but would be okay for the purposes of the Daylight Midnight Show. But I couldn't justify buying it at the time. I couldn't think of anything where I would need it. I've got loads of spare jackets anyway. However, if we make the proposed change and I need something for column 2, it gives me the justification to go back and buy it. And at £3.50, it would basically treble the budget of this show. So that's my proposal. I'll think about that a bit more. No, I won't actually. I'm going to take the decision now, ride the lightning, bite the bullet, live it, work it, be it, whatever the phrase is. So yeah, let's do it straight away then. So without thinking about it, I'm going to do this left-handed. So the wolf t-shirt is going to go because I don't want to have the same combination come up anyway. The therapist jacket is going to move into, whoops, Door of Delight's malfunction, into column 1, and you're going to see just how badly I write with my left hand. So let's call that reflex shirt, and then next week I can panic when I can't remember what it is. And in column 2 is going to be my new jacket, but I'm not going to write it up yet because I'm not sure how to describe it, and I haven't even bought the thing yet. So next week I'll probably sit here and go, oh yeah, that's what I meant to do this week, go and buy that jacket. So that's that sorted out. Thank you for bearing with me through that. While we're on the Door of Delights, let's go straight to this little envelope here, which contains our fabulous fact for a Friday. So this is something that I've learnt since the last show, and I thought I would share it with you. Sometimes these will be long, sometimes they will be short, sometimes they will be amusing, sometimes they will just be factual. This is our fun fact for this week. Switzerland is an anagram of lizard newts. Thank you very much indeed. There will be another fun fact at the same time next week. So with that, let's get through to Greg and Nori. Now, I'm going to make another decision on the fly here, because I said about interactive Greg and Nori, the story that we're going to write together, and I've put it on my list to come next, but actually I'm going to move it towards the end of the show because it's something that I want you to have in your mind when the show finishes. So I don't want to talk about it and then do something else, and then at the end of the show you're thinking about something else that I've done. I want you to go away thinking about the next paragraph of the story that we're going to write together. So Greg and Nori is now going to be moved slightly further back, which means we're now going to do our little brown folder update. Now, if you remember in early series of the Daylight Midnight Show, I used to have a brown folder with me, and during the course of the week I would write down anything I thought of that I wanted to talk to you about, and then on the Friday we'd open it up and we'd go through it together. Now, because we haven't done this show for a while, I've got a long list of things that I've written down. So what I've done is I've gone through them, I've trimmed them, I've taken out ones where I couldn't even understand, didn't know what they were relevant to, and I thought I'd just quickly go through with you some of the things that I've written down, because if you're not a regular viewer of the show, if you haven't got to know me as well as the other people, this gives you a real insight into the way my mind works, which, let's be honest, is quite scary sometimes. So I'm just going to quickly go through like my little brown folder highlights, just to keep you up to date with the way my mind has been going over the past year or so. So talk about the Prisoners Project is the first thing I've written down. Most of this year has been taken up by me with a project that I was running all about prisoners of war in World War II. Now, as you can imagine, that was quite a heavy topic. I had to do lots of research into things like torture techniques and malnutrition and lots of unpleasant things like that, and also what people in Britain were going through during the Blitz and during rationing and during everything that happened here during World War II. So for about 9 months of my life, that was my full-time work. And it was very heavy and it took a bit of a toll psychologically. And when we were going through putting the play together in the summer, I sort of said to everybody, I need to do something fun next. Whatever I do next has to be fun. And it was suggested to me then, well, why don't you restart the Daylight Midnight Show? So that's how we've ended up here with me doing Series 4. Favourite fact for a Friday or fascinating fact for a Friday? I was sort of deciding what I was going to call it and trying to have fun with the alliteration with the F word, or F words, so that's happened now. Here we go. Banning toast. This was an idea. This would probably save the planet. So much power is used to cook either side of a piece of bread, and this is happening in every house, that one thing could stop climate change in its tracks. So if I ever enter politics, which is very unlikely, that might be what the platform that I base it on. Let's ban toasting. Something else, switch off and start smiling, exclamation mark in inverted commas. A campaign to get people to stop scrolling on their phone and start reconnecting with reality. This is something I'm quite passionate about, and I will talk about it at a later date, but I'm aware of the irony of the fact that I'm reading all this stuff off my phone. Did I ever talk about this on the show, getting a refund for my Norwich City tattoo? I don't know if I did, but for years I was a season ticket holder at Norwich City Football Club. When I worked in radio, I had a close association with the club. I got to know lots of the players. I used to interview the manager, and I actually had a tattoo done with the Norwich City badge. And a couple of years ago, they decided to change it. So I wondered whether I could get a refund on my tattoo because the badge was no longer relevant and the club could pay for that. I might still do that because it'd be interesting to see what their response was and we could talk about it on the show. The Powles P paradigm. I'm going to save this one because I want to talk about it a bit more in depth. This was just a thought I had, an observation about something to do with life. And I want to do like a visual representation of it and an example of it. And don't worry, P is spelled P-E-A. It's that kind of P, not the other kind of P. So don't worry about what you might see on screen. Demons and lemons are one letter apart, but they're very different things. I got attacked by demons is terrifying. I got attacked by lemons, not so much. Talk about my accidental overdose of decongestant. Yes, I'm going to do that on a future show because that's quite a story. Quagga, Q-U-A-G-G-A, which I think is a kind of extinct horse. But what I've written here is quagga, a creature that existed only for the purpose of giving people a good Scrabble score in the future. And then I've written down about the peanut butter thing that I talked about last week that I will do. Oh, and I want to invent a new tongue twister as well. That's something that I'm going to do in the coming shows as well. And the rest of that is just gumph that I don't think is necessary. So there you go. That's a few of the things that were running through my head when I was first looking into bringing back the Daylight Midnight Show that I thought might be interesting. That's now been cleared out. The brown folder is empty, so we can move on. So let's talk about interactive Gregory then, which is one of the ideas that I wrote down in there. I'm a writer myself. I write stories for children. I write plays for schools as well. And I thought it would be great fun for us to come up with a story together. Because when you're coming up with an idea, if you're just sitting here at the computer or with a notepad, you're running ideas around in your head, you can sometimes get stuck and you need an outside opinion. So sometimes when you're writing with somebody else, instead of just coming up with 2 ideas for the next part of the story, you can come up with 10 or 12. So I thought between us, we'd have so many ideas, and over the weeks we could build up a story 1 paragraph at a time. So last week I asked you for suggestions of what the title of our story might be, and I can tell you that what we have settled on and decided to go with is this: A Beautiful Day for Gordon Grape. A Beautiful Day for Gordon Grape. That's all we have at the moment. It is over to you. It is an open book now, a blank sheet of paper, an empty file on the computer, if you will. So this time next week, I would like to be reading out the first paragraph of a story that we're creating together that has the title, A Beautiful Day for Gordon Grape. And who is Gordon? I think that's where we need to start. What kind of character is he? Is he actually a grape called Gordon? Is he hanging on a vine in a vineyard somewhere in France, wondering what kind of wine he's going to be turned into? Maybe he's a human character whose name happens to be Gordon Grape. I mean, it sounds like he could be a wrestler. I think it sounds like he could be a lawyer of some kind. Or maybe an old-style grizzled detective from California. You know, one of those ones from the old days, black and white films. She came in my office. She had legs all the way up to her ears and hair all the way down to her ankles. So have a little think about it. What do you think Gordon Grape should be? And what is his day going to entail? And then get in contact with me when you've got an idea for paragraph 1, our first mini chapter, which I will read out next week. So with that, that brings us round to Outfit Roulette, which is already in a new guise. So randomness, hang on, let me get it right. The rotating randomness of the coloured cube, because it's not technically speaking a Rubik's Cube. There goes the timer, and I'm not as much over time as I thought. So we do this 3 times. So first of all, I do that, and we have the colour yellow again. So next week I'll be wearing a yellow shirt, which is going to make me look incredibly pale. Over the yellow shirt I'll be wearing, now that is purple, which on here is pink because I didn't have a purple pen. Purple will be my dressing gown, so it's going to be a yellow shirt, dressing gown over the top, and to accessorise all that, whatever is in column red, which is nothing. Okay, so it's the first appearance of nothing. So yellow shirt, dressing gown, nothing over the top. Will my hair be up or down? Don't forget we toss the coin. Heads is for head of hair, which means it's down. Tails means for ponytails, so it will be up. And that is the head. So next week my hair will be flowing down. And another thing I want to do, another adjustment I want to make is, you might notice I'm wearing different glasses to last week. I have 2 pairs of glasses, and again, I don't want to make the decision on which ones I'm going to wear. So I want to come up with a way of randomising whether I wear these glasses, my other glasses, or no glasses at all. And I did think that we could just do it in rotation. So last week I wore the other ones, this week I wear these ones, next week nothing. But again, I want this to be part of the Outfit Roulette triumvirate, as it will be now. So Outfit Roulette, tossing the coin, and then something else that determines what glasses I'm going to wear. So I'll have a think about that. Maybe we'll cut a pack of cards, but I want it to be a random decision. So that's it for this week. I will see you next week for Series 3. The email address is going to come up at the moment if you'd like to send me the ideas for the story. A Beautiful Day for Gordon Grape, Chapter 1, this time next week. I'll see you next week. Have a great 7 days.